No. The hell did I start? I've lost 100 pounds. 104 pounds to be exact. And it's a pretty big deal. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but that's another that's an Olsen twin. Like that's another human being. Like, I mean, a skinny, small human being, but still another human being. I have lost 100 pounds. To me, that's like, it's hard to comprehend, but it has happened. I started my journey. I mean, I've always kind of been on a weight loss journey. Anybody who's been overweight most of their life knows that that's just a thing. You're always kind of in the back of your mind thinking about losing weight. If you're not actively doing it, you're thinking about how you can try to do it. But at least I am. I shouldn't say that sounds like I'm speaking for anybody, but I've always been wanting to lose weight, even if I haven't actively been doing it. I started this particular journey in January of 2021. And I went pretty solid for, I think it was like 5 months. And then I took a 6-month break. And in that 6-month break, I wasn't watching what I ate. I wasn't really doing a whole lot of trying to lose weight, but I only ended up gaining, I think, 9 pounds back in that 6-month period. And I started back up again in October, I believe. And then have been going steady since then. In my mind, when it really started to come together was when I lost my job in the end of November of that year. I had a lot of free time. I took 4 months off of even looking for a job. We had the ability to have me stay home and sort of take a break from working, since I had the same job for the last 16 years, and the last 2 years of that job had become very stressful for me, to the point where I was like shut down most of the time. My husband said, you know what, take a break, we can do this. So I took 4 months off, and in that 4 months, I started a daily fitness regimen of an hour of cardio a day. And coupling that with a calorie deficit is how I have taken the weight off. So I get asked a lot what I eat, and I'll probably do a separate video on that. But I've just, nothing is off the table for me. I just portion control it. I count my calories. If I want a piece of cake, which happens a lot at my new job, they celebrate every birthday with a just amazing, they go to this amazing bakery and the cakes are so good there. So if I want a piece of cake, I'll have a piece of cake. I'll have a small piece of cake, and I'll cut out dessert that night. So everything is a balance. So nothing's off limits, but everything is within some sort of control. My calories differ per day depending on how much I work out. If I work out, more than I anticipated, then I'll eat more than I would normally. I typically try to keep my calories anywhere from 1,500 to 1,800 a day. That's what works for me. If I'm hungrier, I'll eat more. I listen to my body, but I know roughly how many calories I burn per day due to this, and I try and keep myself in a specific deficit. On the weekends, I will go a little higher. I will eat what I call my maintenance calories, and that is basically whatever I burn, I'll eat. If I feel like eating that much. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I will burn 2,500 calories in a day, and by the end of the day, I've only had, 1,900, 2,000, then okay, that's fine. I don't need to eat all those calories just because they're available. And that's something that has been really hard for me to learn. But I have been learning in the last few months that I don't need to eat it. Just because I have those calories there does not mean I need to eat it. But obviously it's been working out. I've lost 100 pounds. And those maintenance weekends really help me not to binge during the week. They help me, I have something to look forward to. If I want to eat a pizza and I can't allot my calories that day, then okay, well then I'll eat it this weekend. It just gives me something to look forward to sometimes, and it works well for me. This is obviously not going to work for everybody, but it works for me. I've tried all the other diets. I've tried keto. I can't do keto anymore. I lost a significant amount of weight at one point wasn't keto back then, it was just called low carb. And I lost about 80 pounds doing that. It worked for me until it didn't. And I ended up with an electrolyte deficiency that caused heart palpitations. And I can't do that anymore. So this works for me. What works for me may not work for you. That's just how it is for everybody. But this is my story. So I just thought today we would talk about some things that I have noticed that with 100-pound weight loss. And some of them are kind of no-brainers. You're going to be like, well, duh. But these are just things that came to mind when I was thinking about it. So the first one and the most obvious one is that I take up less space, which is weird. And a lot of times I don't notice it until I go to, okay, so the easiest way is to give you an example because it's going to sound weird if I try to explain it otherwise. So I've been grocery shopping all my adult life. So I take off all of my things, I load them onto the conveyor belt, and then to get back around to the back of the cart to push it forward, I always have had to go suck it in, pull the cart up and forward, shuffle my way through the candy aisle and the cart, and then get to the back of it and push it forward. And I don't have to do that anymore, but I still do. Like, I don't realize I'm even doing it until I've done it. And then I'm like, oh, I probably didn't need to do that. And people probably look at me like I'm nuts, but it's something I've done all my life. And it's a habit now. And it's weird that I don't have to do it. It's weird that I don't have the bulk that causes me to not fit in places anymore. It's weird. The other thing I noticed this morning, I got into my husband's van. I don't normally get in the van. We have two different cars. I have my little Honda Fit that I absolutely love. It's a tiny little car. It fits anywhere. You can park it anywhere. But we also have a Honda Odyssey. And I got into the van this morning and I hadn't been in it in months. And I got in the seat and I was like, why is there just so much room around me? Because at one point, I had packed that space. Like I was like to the door and there was like not a lot of room in front of me. And my belly would come out and, getting the seatbelt on was difficult. It's weird. It's so weird, guys. I can't even explain how weird it is to not take up as much space as you used to. You don't notice it until you do. And then you're like, how is this even a thing? Like, how? That's the biggest thing is with the weight loss. It's my brain has not caught up with my body yet. And so I can see it. I can look in a mirror and say, wow, I am taking up much less space. But when I actively put that into motion, it's so weird, guys. It's just so weird. And I don't know how to describe it. And so I'm doing a very poor job, but it's weird. It's weird. The next thing is, I have a list. You know me and lists. I have considerably less joint pain. I'm almost 50. I'll be 49 in May. And I have had a lot of joint pain in like the last 10 years, more than I think I should for my age. But I think that came from the weight. I have carried so much weight on my body in the last 30 years that it's just taken its toll. And I have had a lot of hip problems. My hips are this hip in particular is constantly going out. I was spending buco bucks at the chiropractor, just tried to get that hip back in on probably a bi-monthly basis. I've gone to the chiropractor once in the last year. And that was really just because I felt like I should go and get a checkup. Like I felt like I've been exercising. Nothing was out. I just felt like I should probably, just go and get everything put back in place and just make sure that everything was cool. It's nice. It's very nice to not be in constant pain. I still have aches and pains when I get up in the morning. I'm stiff a little bit, but it's nothing like it used to be. It used to be to the point where it was getting debilitating when my hip would go out. Like I wouldn't be able to, I'd be in bed for 2 days until I could get to the chiropractor. It was horrible, on ice all the time. Just to not have that is amazing. And that is both, I contribute that both to the weight loss, but also to the exercise that I'm doing. I'm moving. I'm making my joints more fluid by putting movement into them every single day. And it's just, I highly recommend it. It's been a game changer. 100%. Can't say enough good things about it. So a big factor is not necessarily a pro. Not all of these are going to be winners, but a significant thing that I have noticed is loose skin. And there is no way around that. Unless you have won the genetic lottery and you just have skin that bounces back, and great for you if you do. That's amazing. I wish I did. I do not. I think I have less loose skin than I thought I would when I started this journey, but it's still considerable. My arms are the worst. This is annoying. It doesn't get in my way like on a daily basis, although when I exercise, it makes some slapping noises that are really, really, really annoying. But that's just me. I mean, nobody sees that other than my husband occasionally, but it is what it is. But yeah, this is the worst part on my body, I think, because it's the most visible. I don't like to not wear tank tops in the summer. I don't like to be hot. I don't like to sweat. It's not my favorite thing in the world. So this is going to be a thing that's going to be visible this summer, and it is what it is. I do not think that I would ever get the surgery, just because I am afraid of surgery. I've only had one real surgery in my life where they put me under, and that was to get my gallbladder out when I was in my early 20s, if that. And I don't like, I'm very afraid. I have a fear of it. So I don't know if I would ever do elective surgery. That's not to say I won't. Right now, I'm saying no, but I could change my mind later. I don't know. We'll see. But my belly is starting to get, like, my lower belly. I'll show you guys some before and afters at the end of this video, and I'll show you what my belly looks like. But it's not as bad as it could be. But it's starting to get to the point where, like, it's hanging over where my belly button should be. And my lower belly is definitely hanging down. But, I mean, honestly, it's still better than being 100 pounds heavier. I'll take it. I'm not gonna, I mean, I haven't had any issues. It hasn't gotten in my way yet, other than being annoying and looking unattractive. I haven't had any problems with it. So I don't think I'd get the surgery, but I'll never say never on that. So the next couple of things are probably all linked mostly to exercise, and that is that I have better mental health, better mental clarity, and I sleep better. I don't imagine how weight loss in and of itself could help contribute to that, but exercise obviously is huge. It's been just a lifesaver for my mental health. And that's why I say that no matter what happens with my weight loss, I will continue to exercise daily, because I can't not. I can't afford to mentally. It's just, I've struggled with depression and anxiety for my entire adult life. I had, we're not going to get into my whole childhood issues, but suffice it to say, I got some. And this has just been, again, a game changer for me. I feel so much better. I mean, I still get depressed and I still get anxiety, but not hourly, like not like I used to, not debilitatingly. So it's just, I'm so glad that I have found this. It's huge. I will never not exercise. That's why I'm very careful when I exercise. I try not to do anything that's going to hurt something so that it'll put me out of commission for a while, because I don't think I could handle that. Like, I need the exercise. It's mentally, like, I need that. I need it. So sleeping better is great. I used to have a really hard time going to sleep. And then I would wake up in the middle of the night and not be able to get back to sleep. Now I pretty much knock out within 10 to 15 minutes of closing my eyes, and usually sooner. And then if I happen to wake up in the middle of the night, it's usually just to go pee, and then I'm out again. It's so much better. I love it so much. Which also, again, helps with my mental clarity. Like that, these are all tied together. It's great. I have so much more energy because I'm sleeping better, and also the exercise. This is like life-changing shit, guys. Like, you wouldn't think, but it is. My husband says I have better self-esteem now. I've never really thought I had bad self-esteem. Like, I've always kind of felt like I had more self-esteem than I should for what I look like. Which, that sounds really bad, but it's true. I've just never really, I mean, other than my childhood, where I was really shy, I think getting into the theater really sort of brought me out of my shell. And since then, I've never really had a problem, like, being outgoing or confident. Outwardly. Inwardly, I do. I struggle a lot with it. I have a lot of self-esteem issues. But I've always felt like I've covered it really well outwardly. But my husband said he's noticed that I have much more self-esteem lately. And he says it's sexy. I don't necessarily know that I notice a difference, but obviously he does. And he said that sometimes that's, to him, is more attractive than the weight loss, like seeing me more self-confident. So for what it's worth, there you go. And this is probably related to that. And the more energy is that I want to go out more. I want to go do things. I want to get out of my house. And that is a foreign concept to me. I had really debilitating anxiety. Sorry, my light just died and then I had to rearrange it. So if the camera is all funky, that's what happened. But I used to have debilitating anxiety to the point where I did not want to leave my house. Like serious fear of outside. It was bordering on agoraphobia. Like I had this weird anxiety where I felt like if I was in a wide open space that I was going to fall down. It was weird. And it lasted about a year when I was living in Arizona, to the point where I had to like have a shopping cart or something. I had to hold on to something. If I had nothing to hold on to, then I would walk like hunched over, like scared that I was going to fall. It was very weird. It was, the way that it manifested itself was just, it was weird. But since then, it got better. And since then, I've just kind of had this mentality where I just don't want to leave my house. It's fear-based, it's anxiety-based. And while my anxiety has gotten better, I've just kind of always stayed with that mindset. And I think it had a lot to do with that I just don't feel comfortable in my own skin. And I didn't want to go anywhere and see anybody. I let myself get so big for a while that I just didn't, like, you know, and I didn't see anybody for a while. And then I was just like, oh God, I don't want to see anybody. I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want them to see how bad I look. And it just got bad. And so it's still very foreign to me to want to go do things. This showed up when we went to Vegas in December. It was like, and my husband even said to me, I'm not used to you wanting to go do things. This is a very weird trip for me, because we were going and doing stuff every single day. We were going out to dinner. We were going here, there, everywhere, just all go. And he was like, it was like, this is great. This is one of the best vacations we've ever had, but I'm not used to this. I don't even want to suggest doing anything, because I'm so used to you shooting it down. And so it's weird. And that was one of my New Year's resolutions, was I want to do something every month. I want to go somewhere. I want to do something fun, because we can, because I don't feel like I should just be shut in the house anymore. I feel a lot better about myself. I feel good mentally. I'm in a much better place. I want to do stuff. So that's something that's foreign to me, and definitely apparently foreign to my husband, but it's a great thing. I love that I want to go do stuff, and he loves that I want to go do stuff. And so it's been a really good perk of the weight loss. So those are things that I've noticed, just with me and how I'm dealing with the 100-pound loss. Just things that I've noticed about my body, about my mental health, about how I'm reacting to things. The other thing I wanted to talk about for a minute is thin privilege, and whether we want to admit that this is in fact a thing. It is. And it's not everybody, but it is definitely something that I have noticed. And not that I think that I'm thin yet, but I am definitely way thinner than I used to be. And I've noticed that I have been treated differently in a lot of different scenarios. Now, whether that is because of my weight loss, or whether it is because of how I react to things now because of my weight loss, I don't know for certain. Is it because I feel better about myself and therefore I am projecting myself differently? Maybe. Or is it because certain people treat people who look better differently? That could also be the case. I don't know 100% what it is, but I do know, just for an example, that I have been to the Sephora, one of the Sephoras in Vegas, multiple times. And every single time that I went in there fat, I was ignored. Several times I was looking for something specific and I had to hunt someone down to help me find it. And they acted like I was just doing them the worst disservice to have them help me find something. I went in there in December and it was like 30 people finding me. How can I help you? How can I help you? And now, I don't know the circumstances. Could be just that they had hired a bunch of great people and that was it. But it just seemed odd to me that on more than one occasion I've gone into this store and been just completely ignored. And then after losing almost 100 pounds, I think I'd lost like 97 at that point, that everyone came out of the woodwork to help me. So it is what it is. I can't change other people. I can only change myself, which I've been doing. And like I said, it could just be that I'm projecting myself differently. I could be, obviously, my husband says that I have much more self-esteem now. I could be just much more outgoing and people are responding to that. That could be it. But either way, I have noticed a marked difference in the way that I get treated in most places, most public places that I have gone into now that I am 100 pounds lighter. Do I think that's fair? No. But like I said, whether we think it is a thing or not, no matter what the circumstances, I have found it to be a thing. I don't know, your mileage may vary. I can't speak for anyone else, but I have noticed a difference. And it's kind of disgusting. It's kind of like, afterwards you're like, it's like you get hit on more when you look more attractive. And then you're like, oh God, you wouldn't have given me the time of day a year ago. You're gross. No, don't talk to me. It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It's like, ugh. But it is what it is. And I thought, and I don't have a solution to it, but I thought it's something, if we're talking about stuff that has changed since my weight loss, that's something that has changed. And I don't like it. It's something where you're kind of always on a weird guard a little bit with people that you don't know, because it's like, would you be this nice to me before? But you can't let it do that to you, though. You know what I mean? Because there are plenty of people out there who wouldn't make this a thing, who would have been perfectly nice to you before. So you can't go through your life judging everybody like that. It's weird, and it fucks with your head. It does. So you can't really hang on to it. But it is a thing. It is, I have found it to be a thing. For better or worse, it is what it is. So yeah. That is just off the top of my head things that I wrote down this morning that I wanted to talk about that I have noticed since losing 100 pounds. So I think now we should go and see some before and after pictures. So I took body shots in January of 2021. So we'll show those. And then I've taken some today. So, and I'm kind of bloated today because my period's coming, but it's good enough. You'll be able to see the difference. So let's take a look at those now, shall we? it's still, the loose skin does bother me to look at, but honestly, I hope high-waisted pants never go out of style. Because you can hide a wealth of sins with the high-waisted pant, especially like workout clothes. Like, just pull that sucker right back up over the belly button. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're fine. But yeah, it's pretty amazing, and I need to remind myself that this is a huge accomplishment when I feel, because I do still feel like sometimes I look at myself and I'm just like, oh God, I still have so far to go. Just, I want to lose 30 to 50 more pounds. And most days I'm okay with where I'm at. Most days I'm pretty comfortable. I'm in a good spot right now. I don't feel the need to drop the weight very fast. I would like to lose the weight, but honestly, I feel like if I didn't lose any more weight, and stayed at this weight right now, I would be pretty comfortable. I would be pretty okay. But there are some days where I just look at myself and I'm like, you're still gross. You're still fat. And that's up here. That's something that I have to work with. And on those days, I just try to be gentle with myself and realize, like, well, now hopefully I'll come back and look at this video and be like, okay, look, you have come a long way. Obviously, it seems like a no-brainer, but it's hard to grasp a lot of the time mentally. But it's a huge accomplishment, and I'm really proud of myself, and hopefully I will continue on, and if not, then I'm proud of myself, and I've come a long way. So if you've enjoyed any part of this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.